Your day gets hijacked by the loudest message, not the most important work. Requests are scattered across email, chat, spreadsheets, and someone's memory. A thread turns into a decision, then into a task, then disappears. You search for 10 minutes just to answer a yes or no. Then you go home, and the work follows you because nothing feels truly done. That is not the cost of being busy. That is the cost of admin chaos, and it is optional. You only need 4 buckets. Moving to slide 2. 4 buckets. Capture everything coming in. Route it to the right owner. Approve it with minimal clicks. Archive it so you can retrieve it instantly. If something does not fit, you do not invent a 5th bucket. You fix the system. This is how you stop building side processes that quietly eat your week. Make the buckets non-negotiable, and the rest gets simple fast. It starts with capture, that requires zero thinking. Moving to slide 3. Capture is not where you sort. Capture is where you prevent loss. Give everyone one front door, one link, one form, one inbox, one channel. Pick one, then make everything else a redirect. Do not ask people to categorize, tag, or decide priority on arrival. Accept messy inputs, because messy input beats missing input.
Every capture gets an automatic timestamp, and it must include source context. Who asked, where it came from, and any thread or file link that explains the request. If someone sends a screenshot with no words, you still capture it. Then you follow up inside the system, not in a private side chat. Capture should feel frictionless and slightly boring. That is how you know it will actually get used. Then you lock it down with standards. Moving to slide 4. Standards are not bureaucracy. They are the minimum you need, so routing and approvals do not turn into a guessing game. Keep required fields brutally small. Request type as a drop-down, not free text. Due date only when it is known, not forced, because fake dates create fake urgency. One link or attachment as proof, context, or source of truth. And one line for desired outcome, written like a finish line, not a story. For example, update billing address on account X, not customer is upset, see messages. If a request cannot state an outcome, it is not ready to enter the system. This is how you protect your team from vague work that expands forever. With clean capture, routing becomes the lever. Moving to slide 5. Routing is where admin stops being a constant interruption and becomes a controlled flow. Urgency is emotional. Ownership is operational. When every request has a clear owner, you get movement without chasing. Build queues by owner or team, so work arrives in batches, not as random pings. That lets you process, decide, and execute without being yanked out of deep work 10 times an hour. Set service levels by request type, not by who complains loudest. A password reset can be same day. A contract review might be 3 business days. Publish those expectations internally so quick question stops meaning drop everything. Add a fallback owner for gaps. If the request type is unclear or the right team is out, it still lands somewhere, gets clarified, then rerouted cleanly. Without routing, you get rework, duplicate answers, conflicting approvals, and the same request being handled 3 different ways. With routing, the system carries the load, and you stop carrying it in your head. Soon, AI can suggest routes, and you just verify. Moving to slide 6. When a request hits your system, AI should route it, and you should verify it. First, it classifies the intent, like bug, access, contract, content change, or policy exception. Then it extracts the key entities, such as customer, system, region, deadline, dollars, and any compliance tags. From that, it suggests an owner and a priority, and it flags what is missing, like screenshots, impacted users, approvals, or acceptance criteria. One more requirement. It must give a confidence score, so you know when to trust the route and when to slow down. Your job is not to read every ticket. Your job is to make sure the right work lands with the right team, with the right context, every time. Moving to slide 7.
To build routing rules, start with your top 10 request types, not your org chart. Pull 60 to 90 days of intake, group by intent, and name each type in plain language. For each type, map a single accountable owner, not a channel, not a committee. One owner who can accept, reassign, or escalate. Next, map each type to an SLA that matches risk. A password reset can be minutes. A data deletion request may need days. Then define escalation triggers that are objective, like breach of SLA, high severity impact, legal keywords, production systems, or a customer tier. Add a triage lane for anything low confidence, missing fields, or cross-team. That lane is where you resolve ownership, capture missing info, and either convert it into a standard type or reject it. Finally, write the rules so a new hire can run them. If AI can follow them, your team can follow them. Clean routing turns chaos into a predictable service. Moving to slide 8. Treat approval like a product you deliver, not a favor you ask for. Start by scheduling a decision window. A daily 15-minute slot or a twice-weekly block works better than random pings all day. Every request that needs a decision gets a one-page brief with the context, options, and what happens if you do nothing. Inside that brief, force the outcome into 3 buttons: approve, reject, or revise. Revise means you name the exact change required, not vague feedback. Then define the rule for silence. Silence can mean approve after 48 hours for low-risk changes, or it can mean auto-escalate for anything tied to security, finance, or customer commitments. Make it explicit so nobody is guessing. Use auto-reminders until the decision is closed, and stop reminding the moment it is closed. When approvals are predictable, people stop gaming the process, and decisions start flowing at the speed your business needs. Moving to slide 9. AI can prepare the decision brief, so you are not starting from a blank page. It should summarize the request in one line, using the same vocabulary as your routing types. Then it highlights risks and dependencies, like security review, data migration, vendor lead time, or customer communication. It also pulls past similar decisions, including what was approved, what was rejected, and why. From there, it drafts the approval message you will send, with the decision options and the deadline based on your decision window. Finally, it asks one clarifying question, only if the missing detail changes the decision. One question, not a quiz. That is how you keep humans in control without wasting their attention. And once decisions are made, they need a home that is built for retrieval, not clutter. Moving to slide 10. An archive is not storage. Storage is where things go to be forgotten. An archive is your single source of truth, where a future teammate can find the answer fast and trust it. Start with naming rules that stay consistent. Use the same structure every time, like date, team, request type, and a short title. Then lean on metadata more than folders. Tag by owner, system, region, customer tier, risk level, and approval status. Folders hide information. Metadata lets you slice and search. Keep a decision log that is searchable. Every approval should capture what was decided, who decided, when, what inputs mattered, and any follow-up work created. Link the ticket, the brief, and the final artifact so you can reconstruct the story in minutes. Finally, set an explicit retention policy. What you keep, for how long, and what gets deleted. When your archive is designed like evidence, your operations become calm, credible, and ready for scrutiny. Moving to slide 11. If you want a workflow people trust, design for auditability from day one. Every step should leave a trace. When a request gets routed, show a confidence score so people know whether the system is certain or guessing. When someone approves, store the rationale, not just a yes. That single sentence prevents repeat debates later. When anything changes, create a new version instead of overwriting history, so you can answer, what did we know then, and why did we decide this? Finally, lock access by role. Not everyone needs to edit routing rules, but everyone should be able to see status. When your process can explain itself, politics cool down, and adoption stops feeling like a gamble. Moving to slide 12. To roll this out without a revolt, start with one team and treat it like a pilot, not a proclamation. Pick a team that has steady request volume and a manager who will actually enforce the rules. In week 1, run all their requests through the new front door, but keep the scope tight. Do not try to boil the ocean. Measure cycle time every week, not just average, but the 80th percentile, because the long tail is what people complain about.
Track how many requests get rerouted, how many approvals miss the window, and how often someone asks, "Who owns this?"
Those are fixable signals. Then kill one old channel. Just one. If you leave email, chat, and hallway drive-bys all alive, you are teaching people the new system is optional. Make the rule simple. If it is not in the front door, it does not exist. Train using real requests from last week. Walk through routing, ownership, approval, and what happens when something changes. Publish the routing map so people can self-serve and stop guessing. When the pilot team feels the speed and clarity, you earn the right to scale it. Moving to slide 13. In your first 48 hours, aim for a working backbone, not perfection. First, pick the capture front door. One link, one form, one intake, whatever fits, but it must be the default.
Next, list your top 10 request types by volume, using plain language people already use. For each type, assign a single owner and a backup, so nothing stalls when someone is out. Then set one approval window. For example, approvals happen once a day at a specific time, or within 24 hours. Consistency beats constant interruption. Finally, create a decision log. Every approval or rejection gets a short note that answers what was decided and why. That log becomes your memory, your training material, and your shield against reruns of the same argument. After 2 days, you should have a system that can take a hit and keep moving. Moving to slide 14. Now it is on you to choose the first cut. Which bucket hurts most right now? Intake chaos, unclear ownership, approvals, or endless rework? Name your single worst request type in the comments, the one that wastes the most time. Commit to one system and one front door, and do not automate anything until the routing and approvals are clear on paper. If you want the template I use to set this up fast, subscribe. Don't chase every AI tool. Build the systems that outlive them.